Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to go over this debate, do like a little debate review of the Consciously and Cam Higby. I think it'll be a really good one. I've heard it's really good. Heard it's really combative. Which man, I love watching debates that are really combative. So I think it'll be interesting. I also heard that Cam did really good. I'm kind of rooting for him in this because I agree with him. Um, and so I hope that is the case. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this goes. I think before one thing I'll say real quick on top, and then we'll get into it. People like Consciously, I see them generally as being like pretty bad faith, and people like that are really rhetorically effective. That's why I kind of overestimated with my first debate, which was the My Dude debate. I just saw My Dude as being someone who was absolutely stupid, and he is, but he's so stupid and bad faith that he actually was really rhetorically effective in the debate, or at least for the first half with me. And so that's something that's something that we got to take note of when we go into debate people like this, me or Cam or whoever. I might talk with I Speak, and so that's something I'm going to have to think about when I go into it. If I do talk with I Speak, although I think I Speak isn't as well, I want to say it's not as over the top as Consciously, but who knows? All right, well, let's just do it.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Start the timer up right now. I'm gonna win this debate for three reasons, all having to do with conservative contradictions. The first reason why I'm gonna win this.
First off, I just want to say, it's. I say that he was rhetorically effective, although I will say there's some things that I'm going to point out that I think, I'm going to try and point out things that I think are not rhetorically effective on both ends. But coming out right out the gate and saying, I'm going to win because of these reasons, I don't think that's effective. I think that would probably be effective with Consciously's base. I can't see that being effective with people in the middle, which is the people you really want to reach, right? It would be so much more rhetorically effective, in my opinion, if you said, because of these reasons. I don't even know if you should pull out the I win card. Or you could maybe say, like, I'm trying to win because of these three reasons that I think are super important. But Consciously doesn't talk like that. He's just super aggressive. He wouldn't talk in the way of, like, I'm trying to win this debate because of these three reasons that I've logically thought out and think that if we follow down, it would lead my side to be right. But I don't know. Let's see.
Debate is for the argument about Kyle Rittenhouse. For Cam to win this, he has to win that a kitchen knife and potential death is a greater threat than an assault rifle in the death of already two people.
All right, so I'm not gonna try and like stop and take long breaks, but like, man, every time Consciously talks, it makes me upset because he says some crazy stuff. Okay, bring out the Kyle Rittenhouse card. It looks like this is something that is absolutely rhetorically effective, but the thing that Cam needs to hit home when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse is that, I hope he does this, is that I think Kyle Rittenhouse was justified, but he should be saying, Cam should, that in this instance we can like think of a scenario in which Ma'Khia Bryant was justified in self-defense or what she was doing, but also by the same token, I think based on the evidence from the cop was also justified. I think Consciously and a lot of other people think that if Ma'Khia Bryant was justified in what she did, that automatically means that the cop was not justified. That's not true. That's not necessarily the case. That was what happened with Breonna Taylor. The judge ruled that, like, yes, the guy who shot in Breonna Taylor's house at the cops, that guy was justified, but the cops were also justified. That's why they didn't really get any sentencing. And then also he's saying some ridiculous stuff about Kyle Rittenhouse with, like, you have to explain how, like, a knife is more of a deadly weapon than an AR. That's not how this works. That's not how self-defense works at all. And, like, oh my gosh, him saying that lets me know how like absent he is from reality when it comes to issues like this, and he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
See, there's a lot of inconsistencies when I talk about conservative contradictions and how you see Cam makes his arguments. Because when you go to Cam page, you're going to see he's a Kyle Rittenhouse stan fan. You feel me? So it's a double bind, obviously, with the Kyle Rittenhouse. Either A, both Kyle Rittenhouse and Miss Bryant should be dead, or B, both of them should be allowed to be able to see their day in court. My second argument is the stand your ground law. Another way we're going to be able to see the inconsistencies and the conservative contradictions. You feel me? I'm going to ask Cam Higby. Cam, please be ready to answer this question. Don't answer it right now, but be ready to answer this question. Me, T. Nathan, and I Speak show up to your house, and you feel like we ready to do you ill will.
I bet he would like to get I Speak and his whatever the other guy he was talking about come to Cam Higby's house and beat him up. I'm sure they would. They seem pretty aggressive.
You call the police because you feel like we about to do some bodily harm to you. The police shows up and they see you with a kitchen knife lunging at me, and the police shoots you at your residence. Is that shooting and you die? Is that justified? I think you're going to say no. That's going to prove I win this debate. My third and final argument, that's going to be the greatest exposure to conservative contradictions. If you go to Cam's page, you're also going to see that he has a lot of hashtag all lives matter. My third argument is exactly that. All lives matter. I know Cam is going to trying to be slick and be like, well, consciously, you say Black Lives Matter. He say the black person. No. All lives matter mean that.
I really hope that Cam doesn't defend all lives matter. I don't know if he actually supports like the all lives matter idea. If he does, I wouldn't hit that home, honestly. But maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he can make a good argument for it. I wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Our tax dollars should be always already given. He has to win that she had to die. This means that the law enforcement couldn't shoot her in the left leg, right arm, left arm, couldn't use.
Also, again, we talked about this in the last video. A cop isn't meant to shoot someone in the limb or something like that. That's not how self-defense, that's not how guns work, that's not how these things work. If you have time to aim in at someone's leg, and someone pointed out to me on my last video that like, oh, well, like it actually can be more deadly if you hit like an artery in someone's leg or whatnot. That is true. Except I think generally when people are thinking of like trying to hit someone in the leg, they're trying to hit someone in like somewhere where it's like really meaty, like the thigh or something like that. Or if you're trying to hit someone in the arm, trying to hit someone like the shoulder or something like that. Which I would probably agree is if you do that, it's probably like less lethal than like shooting the person in the torso. But this just is an idea that comes from like not understanding how these situations work. If you have time to aim in at someone's leg or someone's arm to try and stop them from what they're doing but not kill them, then that means that threat is actually not imminent enough that you should be using a gun. At that point, you should try to be using something else. This was not a case where like you could use pepper spray or a taser. Like, it was super fast paced. They just got there. They were trying to calm things down before they had to do anything else. And like as soon as they got there, the girl's trying to stab someone. You can't really like, and the girl's turned away from the cop in the video if you see. So like, I don't know how he would really even be able to use pepper spray and a taser. We know it's like the idea of a taser working all the time is very, very limited.
Rubber bullets, couldn't use mace, couldn't use a taser, had to shoot and kill her. That's my third argument. All lives matter. And then in the big picture, this is a grown ass man trying to justify the death of a child. Now,
okay, all right. One last thing on what he's saying here. This is a grown man trying to justify the death of a child, or the killing of a child, more so. This is another thing that he just probably doesn't understand. But when it comes to morality, you can absolutely justify the death of a child. Sorry, but like, we generally would say in almost all cases that you probably should not be able to kill a child, and that's true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like the moral culpability is on the cop for killing the child. The moral culpability would be on the parents. Okay, to try and explain this as fast as possible. Basically, when we have someone we see some people in society as being people that we wouldn't treat them as moral agents. Okay, so for instance, if like So let's say if we have like a mentally disabled person and they come up and they try to beat someone up, we wouldn't really hold that person responsible or morally responsible or morally culpable for what happened, because we recognize that person, we wouldn't really treat that person as like a moral agent in that situation, because they might not exactly know what they're doing. So who do we say is morally culpable in that situation? Well, it would be the state or the caretakers of that person who was mentally disabled. We also see children as not being moral agents for the most part, although 16 years old on the kind of, but generally, yeah, until you're 18 in our country, I guess, we don't see children as being moral agents. And so if a child is about to do something that's absolutely to go to the absolute extreme, if a child is about to push a button that's going to set off an atomic bomb, it's probably justified to kill that kid before they push that button, if you have no other way to stop the kid. But that doesn't mean that the person who shot the kid is morally culpable. That would mean that the parents or whoever's the caretaker of that child is morally culpable, because they allowed for this kid to be so reckless that they're going out and about to push a button that would kill everyone. And so it's the same case with this. If the cop is justified in what he did, which I think there's pretty good arguments to be made that he did, or that he was, then that means that he wouldn't be morally culpable for the death of a child. It would be the parents or the people who are at the foster home, I guess, because from what I understand, she was in foster care or something like that. So he just doesn't understand that.
Now, usually I'm called the one that's a race baiter. They say consciously I'm the race baiter. But Mr. Higby here is so invested in building him a Twitch following that he keeps on trying to sensationalize Black death and using my Black presence in order to try to get him some Twitch following. I think that's going to be the independent reason of why he moves this debate along, is because at the end of the day, that's exactly what he's doing. You can't say all lives matter and that Kyle Rittenhouse deserves to be seen as a hero and then say that this Black child deserves to die. You know what I'm saying? So it's three simple arguments. He has to answer those three arguments. I don't want to see you trying to manipulate my words. I don't want to hear you trying to go back and restructure what I said. It's three simple arguments. First argument, Kyle Rittenhouse argument. Please have something.
I'm sorry. I had to shoot for. I need to stop looking. If I look at the chat, I'm going to be stopping all the time. I had to shoot for, because people in the chat are always going to be just absolutely brain dead idiots that are 75 IQ. Had to shoot 4 times when he was in arm's reach of her. Apparently forgot he had a taser. Oh my God. They don't even understand how tasers work. These people are stupid.
I'm going to say that. My second argument is the stand your ground argument. Third argument, all lives matter.
He burped.
That timer. All right. So my opening statement is, we agreed to a debate about Ma'Khia Bryant, correct? So we're going to be talking about Ma'Khia Bryant. Kyle Rittenhouse is irrelevant. That's a straw man. You're building a straw man up and attacking me with it, or you're attacking the straw man, not my argument.
Okay. So right out the gate, dang it. Yeah. I wouldn't. I think it's fair to say, in this situation, that yes, the Kyle Rittenhouse argument is a straw man. But I also think you have to address it, because people are not going to see why these two situations are different. People who are just very one-dimensional viewing this, they're going to see all these white people are defending a white kid, but now they're not defending the Black kid for self-defense. That seems very weird to me, and so you have to address it.
I don't have any videos up about Kyle Rittenhouse. You specifically said that I did, which I don't. I have also never, ever, not even a single time on any account.
That was pretty good, though. That was good. I didn't know he didn't have any videos up on Kyle Rittenhouse. That's interesting.
Ever used the hashtag All Lives Matter, even though you claimed that I did.
Dang.
I would love to see you.
Okay. Cam came out pretty good. Okay, I was worried. I was worried there for a second.
A single video where I did such a thing. The next thing, and I'm not even really going to have an opening statement here. You brought up the shoot the officer or shoot the assailant in the leg, right? We didn't watch the body cam footage. We should have. We can do this after opening statements. We can watch the body camera footage, I guess, because we did agree to do that. Okay, so you said shoot to kill or wound. According to the Office of Justice Programs, officers are not supposed to shoot to wound. officers are not supposed to shoot to wound, because if you shoot to wound, you're shooting for arms and legs. They conducted a study where out of like 3,000 police shootings, where officers claimed that they were, or not, it wasn't 3,000 shootings. I can't remember how many shootings it was. I'll pull up the study in a second and I'll send you a link. Okay, 1 second. My stream's muted apparently. Anyway, I'll figure it out later. Anyway, so where was I? Shooting to wound. You don't shoot to wound because arms and legs are the most, they're the quickest parts of your body. If you shoot at those areas, you're more likely to miss. Your bullet's more likely to hit other people. Okay. Not only that, officers who have shot to wound or claim that they shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that still plays into what I said. Like, if you're trying to aim for a leg or an arm in a very tense situation, you're not going to have enough time to aim, perfectly. You might hit other people in the back. And plus, if you did have enough time to actually shoot in the leg or the arm, if you did have that much time to do that, then that means the threat isn't that imminent that you should be using a gun. It's just such a bad argument to say that people should be shooting in the leg or the leg or the arm. Again, I think Biden said this at one point. I'm gonna have to pull up the quote at some point, but
wound ended up hitting in the neck, in the neck area or the head, because they shot for like the shoulder or the arm. Very, very close, fastest moving. Tasers, not effective. He was around 10 feet away from Ma'Khia. The effective range of a taser is 10 feet.
I don't know if he was that far. He might have been.
Not only that, studies show that tasers are ineffective 40% of the time.
Yep.
The LA Police Department actually reported that between 2014 and 2018, tasers were ineffective 56 or anywhere from 53 to 64% of the time to subdue an assailant. But I really think that we should watch this body camera footage before we really get into it, because it's probably the most important thing. But this debate, let me be clear. Are you timing me?
Yep.
Okay, let me be clear. This debate is about whether or not this specific incident was justified, if the officers' actions were justified, not whether Kyle Rittenhouse was justified, not whether the officers in the Kyle Rittenhouse situation was justified, because that was a completely different incident. With completely...
Dang. He should have said not whether Ma'Khia Bryant was justified. He should have said that. Because then that's going to make him think, that's going to make all of these other people on the side think, that's going to make them like question, like, well, how in the world is that the case? And then he gets to explain it and actually just like, bury them in the ground.
Different officers. We are talking about this specific incident. We are not talking about Dante Wright. We're not talking about Lieutenant Nazario. We are talking about Ma'Khia Bryant. That's what this discussion is about. That's what we agreed to. That's what we're going to talk about.
I still think it's weak. I still think you have to address it. Even if you think it's a straw man, I still think you have to address it, or else it just does. It looks rhetorically better on his end. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people will disagree.
And also, you brought up the Kyle Rittenhouse and the All Lives Matter thing. That's an attempt to taint the well. That's a logical fallacy. You're attempting to portray me as a bad person in order to invalidate the rest of my arguments. It doesn't work. It's a logical fallacy.
Oh, he's coming out with the debate bro stuff a little bit.
There's time. And you said we got 2 minutes for the rebuttal.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, they're timing everything?
2 minutes for the rebuttal.
Go ahead.
Why are they timing everything? That sounds like a terrible idea. Oh my gosh. If I do the thing with I Speak, I'm not doing that. I'll do an opening statement, that's for sure. But like, I'm not gonna do this like, oh, you get 3 minutes, I get 3 minutes, you get 5 minutes, I get 5 minutes. That's really, really stupid. It's not. It looks really bad. It's boring as heck. I don't know.
Started my timer. So when you say straw man fallacy, I find that funny because straw man can only be referred to if I'm referring to your argument. I spoke first. I'm the affirmative in this debate. So you saying no?
No, that is so not how straw man works. What an idiot! Oh my gosh, he's actually stupid. Listen, you can straw man someone even if they haven't gotten to speak yet in the argument. Obviously, he knows of his content, and you can straw man what he believes based on his content. This isn't, oh my gosh, he's actually stupid. This is such an idiotic point. Holy crap.
Link, it show you already the conservative contradictions. I literally said the consistencies of the law. So in this instance, that's a problem logic that you're giving to Ma'Khia Bryant. Let's get the logic. You said that because she had a knife, she's supposed to die. You know what I'm saying? And then you said that
When did he say
because
that?
I'm talking about
wait.
Kyle Rittenhouse and strong. And listen, don't cut me off. I ain't cut you off, not all. I need you to literally be an adult now. Be an adult. Be an adult. I know right now you're an adult that's trying to justify that a child should have been murdered by the police. But let's
Now he's, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know if I could do one against Consciously. Not because I'm scared or anything, but just like, man, he's so bad faith. He's just trying to like, say like, hey, you're getting this wrong. I can understand what he's saying. Like, don't interrupt me. That's fine. But like, now you're gonna just start like insulting him because like you're a grown adult. Be a grown adult. Like, just get back to what you're saying. Chill the freak out. I don't know why they're like always so on edge.
Let's get into these arguments.
God.
You said that tasers are non-effective. You feel me? You gave me the study. I find that funny because this officer was able to launch a firearm within 20 seconds on the scene. So if our tax dollars are going towards people being able to go make oaths and go to get trained, where is it in terms of all lives matter, in terms of humanity, the preservation of life? So when we say Black Lives Matter, this means that...
What was that point? What is he saying? He said something about like, you said tasers are ineffective, and then he just totally went to some other thing. What is he? I don't even.
You feel me? You gave me the study. I find that funny because this officer was able to launch a firearm within 20 seconds on the...
What does that matter? I'm so confused. You say that I don't understand what his point is. You say that tasers are ineffective, yet this guy was able to launch a firearm within 20 seconds. What does that matter? Again, like he just showed up. Like that doesn't really mean much. Like when police, show up to an incident or in some situation or whatever, what you have, generally speaking, is like they come and they like try to like de-escalate the situation once they get there. They like realize, oh, like these people are fighting. Let's try it. Let's just try and take a breath. They try and speak to the people and they're like, hey, like come on down, and like try to talk to them. As soon as they got there, they were starting to try and do that. They're starting to try and talk to these people. But within 20 seconds of them being there, the girl was already trying to stab someone. At that point, you don't have any more time. You don't, like, generally when a cop shows up to a situation, they have more than 20 seconds to react, okay? They have more than 20 seconds to actually get something done and try to talk to these people. If I was the cop, if I was this cop, I would not expect rolling up to the situation to only have 20 seconds to like try and de-escalate the situation. These people want to talk about how like, oh, we need to like defund the police so we can put money towards social programs that will be able to like de-escalate situations or whatever. Yeah. Like, I mean, like you don't understand that like some of these situations, you only have 20 seconds to de-escalate a situation. Like, what are you talking about? What social worker is going to be able to de-escalate that situation specifically in 20 seconds? Oh my God. So stupid.
So our tax dollars are going towards people being able to go make oaths and go to get trained. Where is it in terms of all lives matter, in terms of humanity, the preservation of life?
Why does he keep on bringing all lives matter up?
So when we say Black Lives Matter...
Here's the thing. If Consciously keeps on bringing up all lives matter, that is going to be like really rhetorically effective on his side. But not if Cam Higby says, you're going to have to show me some proof of where I said all lives matter. I've never said this. This is not something that I like espouse or whatever. So if he keeps driving this home even harder than him, that will look so good on Cam. What Cam needs to do is keep asking Consciously over and over again, show me where I've supported ALM. Show me where I've put a hashtag of ALM. You have to show me this because you keep on putting it on my name. So if he keeps on asking that over and over and over again, it's going to look really bad for Consciously because he's just going to keep on dodging it. And that's why I think like doing debates in this format where you're like, 10 minutes and 10 minutes or whatever, it's really not a great idea because you don't get to like just ask someone a direct question just like in like 5 seconds, like show me where I did this, and then let them respond and see them squirm around the answer.
This means that both of these bodies should have went home. But because we see that the police officers literally played judge, jury, and duty, no due process of law, that's already one reason why Ma'Khia should be alive today. There is no due process of law. You feel me? So if you say the law matters, then the law obviously should have mattered in her being able to stand her ground in her home. And your last thing, in this next rebuttal you give, I'm literally giving you the scenario.
Again, I'm really interested in Cam's response to that, because my response would obviously just be she may have been justified in the stand your ground law. That could be totally possible. I mean, neither of us know enough information to say if that's actually true or not. I have no idea if she was justified in that. But even if she was, it doesn't really mean anything about the cop and if he was justified or not. He needs to point this out. That would be my argument, unless he has a better argument. I don't know what else he would say, but
Cam, me, T. Nathan, and I speak show up to your house. Your house. You call the police. The police show up, but you having a kitchen knife, and they shoot you. You're saying that is justifiable, and we don't want to hear nothing about you being able to stand your ground. The question that y'all have to ask yourself is, what ground do black people have to stand on? Because according to Cam Higby, you feel me, in this debate, she don't have no ground to stand on, even if she's at her place of residence.
Yeah. Like I said, Cam, if Cam would drive home certain questions, it would make him look really good because he wouldn't be answering. One of the things that Consciously is doing right now is actually just that. He's asking all of these questions over again that he put in his opening statements, because he's acting as if there wasn't sufficient answers from Cam. And so, again, this is going to look really good for Consciously if Cam doesn't fire back really, really well here.
Now let's get into this idea that what do you say? Is it?
All right, 1 second. We need before I rebut to what you just said, I've the most important parts written down. We need to watch the body camera footage, so I'm going to pull it up in just a second. 1 second. Just get it ready.
My man said logical fallacy. You ain't made no argument yet.
Yep, I'm not rebutting that yet. We're going to watch the.
What? He's such a piece of trash. What an idiot.
Body.
I can't believe that this man thinks he's an intellectual and has 2 million people who actually think that he's an intellectual as well. He's actually stupid.
Camera footage. All right.
And just to note, I don't agree with Cam on a lot. I think actually Cam is a lot cooler, and I think he's a lot smarter than the way I saw him back in the day, on political TikTok. I think he does what he does pretty good, even though I disagree with him quite a bit. But I don't even know how you can respect someone like this.
So let's see, where is it?
He just pulls stuff out of his butt all the time.
All right, so it's right here. Can you see my screen?
Is the cam footage supposed... I need to stop. Is the cam footage supposed to help? What a stupid thing to say. It's all of the evidence we have right now.
Not yet.
What?
Not yet.
Oh my god.
Right now, can you see it?
Yeah.
All right.
You now.
You can see the video.
Hey, before you play this, for all of the people that don't want to see relive trauma or trigger or trauma porn, right now he about to replay the video.
You say trauma porn?
You know what I'm saying? He feel like he had to play the video.
Because it's evidence. If we're going to talk about whether a situation was justified or not, we need to see the evidence. This is firsthand evidence. Firsthand.
Everybody has already seen this video. It was good.
We'll see. Okay, we're gonna play the video.
We'll see. Oh my gosh. I wonder if he feels worried about showing this video. It seems like he is, because Cam makes a good point. There's probably a lot of people in his audience, I bet, who have not watched the video. There's probably people in Cam's audience who haven't either. But to act like everyone's seen the video, that's bull crap. A lot of these people, whether you like it or not, conservative or BLM or whatever, they will make their judgments on these situations without ever watching the video first. It's a thing that happens literally all the time. I know it does, because you get people in the comments who actually say stuff that is just factually wrong by what you can tell from what's going on in the video. So yeah, it's just bull. I have to speed this up a little bit.
Can you hear it?
Uh-uh.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. You really can't hear it?
No, we can't hear nothing.
What is he using? Oh, is he using?
Okay, then I guess we're just gonna have to watch it without the audio. He's accepting the 911 call right now. They're talking about a knife. They're being attacked. So we're just gonna skip to when he starts driving. All right, here he starts driving.
Trigger warning, trigger warning. For everybody that don't want to see this right now, I would, you know what I'm saying? I understand, definitely. You can get off the screen. I definitely understand.
Yep, it's very sensitive. I know.
I'm going to have to hide this. This is annoying me.
Can you put the captions on?
Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Okay, now it's not letting me pause. What the fuck? Okay, let me just come back here, and we're gonna put it in slow motion. Let me turn the closed captioning on. All right, you see it? Still there?
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna put it in slow motion. All right, so let's slow it down.
Why is Consciously so worried about having this video showed?
This girl in pink has a chihuahua. That's Ma'Khia Bryant right there. She has a knife. She pushes this girl to the ground.
At her place of residence, where she called the police.
Ma'Khia Bryant's father kicks this girl
on
the ground while she's there.
Right.
Did you see just there at the frame? Just so we can all see it, I'll pause right on the frame. Did everybody just see that knife?
Yeah, we see the knife. Everybody's seen the knife.
Okay. No, not everyone has seen the knife.
Then I'm going to pause on the exact frame that the first shot was fired.
Shot 4 shots.
That's the first shot. Here, let me just. That was a little late. Just 1 second. Yeah, sorry. It's just a little bit difficult.
And you saying right now no taser could be pulled?
I'll talk about it after this. Okay. All right. That's the exact moment the first audio is heard from the gunshot. This girl in the pink is pinned up against the car. Ma'Khia has her arm raised with a knife in hand, about to stab this girl. Okay. Now we can, I guess.
I think Consciously knows that this looks bad for him to show the video. I think it does, or I think he knows that. Because look at this. I mean, people who wouldn't look at this and like, oh my gosh, yeah. I think he knows that it looks bad for him. Even if you can justify what Ma'Khia Bryant is doing, like, this looks bad.
This is where Ma'Khia gets shot. We can just speed it up from here so we can make out what everybody's saying and all that.
And her back
I guess they're not gonna be able to anyway. But
her back is turned. And the police officer is within 20 feet that he showed a study of and saying that they're ineffective unless tasers are used within 20 feet.
No, 10 feet.
10 feet. He within 10 feet.
Yeah, that officer's probably 10 feet away.
I think that looked really bad for him.
And not only that, in general.
And y'all remember the study that he read said that tasers are ineffective to 20 feet. That's what I got written down.
I said 10. You can go back and rewind.
Oh, well, if I was Cam right now, I'd be like, isn't this like my 2 minute response or 2 minute rebuttal or whatever? Like, why are you interrupting my 2 minute rebuttal?
Anybody who's watching, I said 10.
So you are acknowledging that he was within.
No, I said he was about 10 feet away, which is where the tasers start being more ineffective. Not only that, tasers are ineffective on coats, which he was wearing a coat, on belts, and on jeans. The barbs don't pierce those types of clothes as well. And tasers, studies show, the study from, let's see, the American Public Media shows that tasers are ineffective in subduing an assailant 40% of the time.
Don't
start the speech, man. Don't start the speech.
Don't start the speech. What an idiot.
Put you on the time. Got the 2 minute time. Zane, go get in the bed, son. Go get in the bed. No, go get in the bed. Go get in the bed.
This poor guy.
Hold on, wait a minute, Cam. Go get in the bed, son.
Yep, go ahead, no problem.
Yeah, you got some business to handle. Go get in the bed. All right, I got the timer started. Oh, actually, I'll start when you start talking. That's when I started.
Okay. Wait, what?
I will start the timer when you start talking.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I already covered the taser thing. You said that Ma'Khia called 911 because she was in danger and under attack. What makes you think that?
What makes you think
what makes you think that Ma'Khia called 911 because she was under attack? What leads you
to believe? 911 because we know that there's
any evidence of that at all?
Yeah, the 911 calls you showed.
No,
the
how do you know
911
that's
call.
Ma'Khia? What's her picture there? How do you know that's Ma'Khia?
Because we know all reports say that she called.
No, they didn't. Not a single one. Columbus Police Chief Michael Woods specifically said that they haven't identified the person that called 911 initially. How long do you think it was when that police officer started driving till he got to the scene?
Ooh,
I don't know.
It was
that looked really good.
No, they didn't. Not a single one. Columbus Police Chief Michael Woods specifically said that they haven't identified the person that called 911 initially. How long do you think it was when that police officer started driving till he got to the scene?
I don't know.
It was 28 seconds. They called and they said there was an armed assailant with a knife attacking them. He got there in 28 seconds. Who do you think the armed assailant was all along? It was Ma'Khia. Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that. I would not make assumptions. Oh gosh. I mean, it's from what I've heard, Cam does really good in this debate, so like I'm rooting for him, but I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would make that assumption. Yeah, oof. So he's not even going the route that I was saying, where like, oh, you could argue that Ma'Khia was justified, but also that the cop was justified in what he did. He's just arguing literally that like Ma'Khia Bryant was the aggressor. That's it. That is possible, but we don't know that. We have no idea.
Do you think, now, even if it wasn't Ma'Khia, if we had objective proof that it wasn't Ma'Khia, don't you think that it's reasonable for the officer to believe that she is the intruder, considering she just attacked one girl with a knife, pushed her to the ground, as her father curb stomped the other girl, and then she pinned another girl who had no deadly weapon in her hand except a chihuahua, and pinned her up against a car and attempted to murder her? Okay, next. What else did you say? Stand your ground. This is not fit Ohio stand your ground law at all. First of all, she wasn't on her property; she was on the sidewalk. Second of all, you can only, let's see, what I have the criteria for Ohio stand your ground law. 1 second. I'm just looking for it. Okay, Ohio stand your ground law. There it is. Okay, so in order for you to fall within Ohio stand your ground law, you need the person you are attacking, that you're defending yourself from, needs to be the aggressor. The person needs to believe that they are.
Oh wait, let's listen to that again. Hold on.
I'm just looking for it. Okay, Ohio stand your ground law. There it is. Okay, so in order for you to fall within Ohio stand your ground law, you need the person you are attacking, that you're defending yourself from, needs to be the aggressor.
Yep.
The person needs to believe that they are in imminent danger of death or grave bodily harm. Do you think that the person holding a chihuahua on the sidewalk attempting to speak to the police was posing grave bodily harm to Ma'Khia? Do you think that?
Yeah.
No, she had a chihuahua in her hand.
What an idiot! Oh my god, man, Cam's coming back. Cam's coming back pretty good. Again, I don't really agree with this argument necessarily. I think he's making good points though. He's doing really well.
Call the police.
It was a yes or no question. She didn't call the police. That's not confirmed. You're making it up.
That is your time. That is your time. That is your
Ma'Khia
time.
was the aggressor the entire time.
Looked really good.
So now we get this 8 minute of free time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, before I start my timer, have that same energy when I'm asking you questions. So when I start this time and I start asking you questions, don't start going off the rails.
As long as they're yes or no questions. As long
you can, I'm letting you know. I ain't gonna ask you all yes or no questions. I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna start this timer though.
Are they going to be? Are you saying they're going to be all yes or no, or they're not going to be all yes or no?
They're not gonna be all yes or no questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to.
This is how we're making it clear though. I'm gonna give you the same respect when you're in your 8 minutes. When I cut you off, that's my time. I'm asking my next question.
Yep, of course. Okay.
The first question: does the law matter in this debate? Does the law matter in this debate, Cam?
It depends. Do you think that it was justified? Are you saying that it was justified under law or morally or both? Do you want justice under law?
Simple question is: does the law, the understanding of the law, matter in this debate? That's all I'm asking.
Of course.
Of course it does. We agree. We both the law.
Oh, that didn't look as good for Cam. I would have said something like, I guess maybe like, yeah, you just got to bite the bullet on that because it's his time, I guess. Unless you wanted to say something like, yeah, and you maybe say like, yeah, it matters. That's why I read off the law. I think that would look really good. Don't let them like get a rhetorically one up, and that's like really short, so you can like, and it drives home the point. So you can be like, just yeah, that's why I read off the law to you.
What matters in this debate?
Yep.
So when it comes to equal protection under law, how come we can use the law to justify Kyle Rittenhouse being alive, but use the law to justify Ms. Bryant being dead?
Is that a question?
That is the question.
Okay, first of all, again, Kyle Rittenhouse is irrelevant to this conversation. This is about
don't do that. Answer the question, Cam. Don't do that. Because it just doesn't look good. Okay, and then I think the answer would obviously be that Kyle Rittenhouse was not the aggressor in this instance. Ma'Khia Bryant Was the aggressor. That should be his argument, which I would imagine it is.
A single incident. And not only that, Kyle
I'm finna
Rittenhouse,
cut you off.
a different state.
I'm finna cut you off respectfully, and now run this back because I don't think you understand how cross-sex works. First question I asked you: does the law matter in this debate? You said yes. Then I asked you about equal protection under law, and now you're saying that what happened in the legal terms in that instance doesn't matter.
Are you aware that Kyle Rittenhouse was in a different state?
That's understandable. It's equal protection under law. Is that a federal law or no?
These laws would be pertinent to state laws. Was that a question you're asking?
My question
Wisconsin
is
versus
equal
Ohio.
protection under law. Is equal protection under law? Is it a federal law? Is Ohio under the jurisdiction of federal law?
What? Oh man, Cam's got to drive this home because this is the most stupid. This is so moronic. We're not even talking about federal law. Like, what? Unless I missed something. He's so dumb. I don't understand it.
Depends on what the crime is.
Now it depends on what the law is. So
it does. Oh my gosh, it does matter what the law is because we're not talking about federal law. If I were Cam, I would be like, if you want to bring up a federal law, then let's bring up a federal law. But we were talking about Ohio state law. So if you have some type of law, or maybe he was talking about the equal protections law. I don't know what's the equal protections law. I guess that's maybe what he was talking about. Is it? Clause. As part of the first section of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, the clause, which took effect in 1868, provides, nor shall any state deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. That's what Cam was saying. The equal protection clause doesn't apply here because these were two different states. Oh my gosh, what an idiot. Consciously is actually stupid. Like, I don't even think... How does he teach children? I think he teaches children, right? Because he's an English teacher or something like that? Who let him teach children? These poor kids. What an idiot.
So another question. Why don't you see the similarities in a knife being held and potential death being more violent than a assault rifle and people being dead?
These are not the same situations. When the police encountered Kyle Rittenhouse, he was not aiming the weapon at anyone. He had been chased down and he shot people that were attacking him. In this situation, we're not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse.
He shot people that were attacking him.
Yeah, so you have to prove, consciously, that Ma'Khia Bryant was the one being attacked, which means that you have to prove that she was the one on the phone call, or you have to prove some other type of thing. I don't even know if the phone call... I don't even know if you could ID her as being the person who called on 911. If you did that, I don't even know if that would prove enough, especially in court. I don't know if that would prove enough that, like, she was the one being attacked. I don't know if that's the case.
Kyle would not be attacked.
Black woman, there's a 16-year-old black child in this instance. Does she get the ability to defend herself? Yes or no?
If she's being attacked, but she was the aggressor.
So asking you the question again. Ask you the question again, because I think that how you answer this question is going to me already give the people who won and who won lost this debate. Me, T. Nathan, and I Speak 1906 show up to your house.
He has such a one-dimensional view of these things. He's like oh my god,
Cam Higby.
So
and you
bad
think
faith.
that we trying to do you ill will? You call the police like these black people trying to kill me. The police shows up. You have a kitchen knife and you trying to stab me. They shoot and kill you. Is the shooting and the killing of you justified? Yes or no?
If you were not actively attacking me and I was actively attacking you, I was the aggressor, and the police showed up in response to a call that somebody said that they were being attacked with a knife. They arrived and saw somebody attacking another person with a knife. Yes, under Columbus Police Code, they have the right to shoot you. Absolutely.
So now let's get to this Ohio State stand your ground law. You said that the Ohio State stand your...
See how he just weaseled around that? Oh man, this is why you can't be like doing the this is why this debate format is just so bad, because they get to weasel around stuff like this. If I were him, I would be taking notes of all of these questions that Cam is asking him, and I would be making sure that I'm still hitting these questions because he's just not answering them.
Ground law only is present if you're on your property, and this doesn't count because she was on the sidewalk. Is that what you said?
She was on the sidewalk, but that's not the main part. She was the aggressor. You can't be the aggressor if you're falling under Ohio State law.
So let me ask you this question.
So Cam's trying to kind of play this both ways. It looks good, I think. I think he's fine there. But I don't know if you can say, like, oh, she was on the sidewalk. Also, by standing your ground law or whatever, like you have to be the other person has to be the aggressor for you to claim self-defense. You can't really have it both ways unless you're saying like from what we understand, she was on the sidewalk, which is not her property. That doesn't fall under stand your ground state. And also, even if she wasn't on the sidewalk, even if she was on her property, these girls or whatever, that still wouldn't count because you know.
How was she on the sidewalk when you made a point to talk about how Rakai had her pinned on the car?
It's Ma'Khia. It's Ma'Khia.
Wait, I got a little cousin named Rakaya, and when I think of her, I see her because they're the same age. My bad, I keep on saying that. Shout out to me. I don't know how I'm saying Miss Bryant. So how is Miss Bryant on public property, the sidewalk, but you?
I'm surprised. Does it? You know how all these people, like in my last video, you know how all these people get really mad when you say these people's these names wrong. I wonder if they're going to come after him.
Pointed out that she had another woman with
I don't care if she was on her own property or not. The fact
hold on. I knew you was going to do this too. I asked the first question. Does the law matter in this debate? You said sure. And then you read to me the Ohio Stand Your Ground law. And you said that it doesn't account in this process because she was on the sidewalk.
Now you're saying that's not what I said because she was on the sidewalk. She was the aggressor and her life was not in imminent danger. Yep. You have to fall under all three of those criteria in order to be covered by Ohio Stand Your Ground law.
So why did you just say that you're not concerned if she was on the sidewalk or not?
Because it doesn't matter, because the other two parts of the criteria she already doesn't fall under. She was the aggressor. Her life was not in imminent danger. Therefore, just those two things alone mean that she can't possibly be protected by Ohio Stand Your Ground law. Do you understand that? You have to be under all three of these criteria.
So in asking this question, does the law matter?
He's got to get a little bit more aggressive. I thought that was a good response, but he's got to get more aggressive. He's got to get in there.
Does Ma'Khia deserve due process?
What does that matter?
They can try to charge the officer with did Ma'Khia
deserve due process?
From what I'm familiar with, you get due process when you're being arrested, not when you're actively attempting to murder somebody.
So now we know for a fact you can say that you understand Miss Bryant's intent was to stab the killer.
Miss Bryant's
Okay, well, what? What kind of argument is that? If you're going to say that oh my god. Okay, so let me get this right consciously. Ma'Khia Bryant, we don't know if she was stabbing to kill, but the cop, we do know he was shooting to kill. What kind of argument is that? That's so stupid. And by the way, it doesn't really even matter. Like if you have someone pinned down and you're like shoving a knife in their face or whatever, you're about to stab them, like you can basically assume that that person is trying to kill that person. I mean, this is like self-defense 101. If someone else has a weapon over you and like they're trying to aggress on you, and as a person who's trying to act in self-defense, which the girl in the pink probably would be the one claiming self-defense here, then you have to assume that they're doing this to kill. You have to assume that they're shooting to kill. And the policeman, as a third party, under the law that protects him from shooting someone to protect a third person, he also has to assume that that person is stabbing to kill. This is just how laws work. It's literally not even complicated. These people can try and twist things and shape them around to make it look the best they can, but this is just how it works. This is how self-defense works. This is how guns work. If you don't understand it, then I'm sorry, you're just lost and you need to figure out your life, because this is just how it is, okay?
Yeah, she was attempting to murder somebody. That's my whole thing.
If she is not alive today to say what her intent was doing, how do you know what her intent was?
Because she was over the other girl with a knife raised over her head.
So hold on. So I find this funny. You started off with asking me, how do I know that Ma'Khia actually made the call? But you can dictate her note. You can say that she was purposely her motive. But I can't say that Ma'Khia actually called for help.
Yes, because I can see Ma'Khia standing over that girl with a knife, about to plunge it into her chest. You cannot see Ma'Khia on the phone. You can hear a voice, but you have no idea what Ma'Khia's voice sounds like.
That's good, yeah. I mean, I still disagree with that point, but I think that he made the point pretty good. I would say that I would say against Cam, if I was consciously, I would say just because we can see her, going after her with a knife doesn't necessarily mean that she wasn't, defending herself. I know a lot of people, I think a lot of my followers think that from what we've seen in the video, Ma'Khia Bryant was obviously the aggressor. I don't know if you can make that assumption yet, because like it's totally possible that it's totally possible. I feel like we can think of a few scenarios in which that would not be the case, right? In which case it would be like Ma'Khia Bryant was actually acting in self-defense. I feel like we can think of a few instances like that. So, for instance, like maybe the girls that came to the house actually did bring the knife, and somehow like they dropped it or something, and Ma'Khia Bryant ended up getting the knife, and now she was acting in self-defense. That's possible. Maybe they had some type of knife that was like some like pocket knife or whatever, the girls did, and then later on somehow Ma'Khia ended up getting a bigger knife because that was the home that she was residing in, so she could just go in and get one. Like I'm sure we could think of a few ways in which Ma'Khia Bryant was acting in self-defense, but that doesn't necessarily matter. Like they're trying to drive home this point of like, oh, was Ma'Khia Bryant justified or not? It doesn't necessarily matter. Like, I mean, all you have to prove is that the policeman was justified.
Was Ma'Khia at her residence?
Yes, and there was a lot of people at that residence. It could have been anyone. There was 2 911 calls. You realize that, right?
So can you answer this yes or no question? Can you answer this yes or no question?
Yep.
Me, 1906, and T. Nathan show up to your house, and you think that we trying to do something bad to you, and you call the police for help.
This is like the 5th time that he's asked this. Cam Higby has got to like respond. He's got to.
Are you actively aggressing me? Are you threatening me with a knife?
You call the police. You think that we trying to do something to you?
Yeah, if you're not doing something to me, I don't have the right to.
Oh, if I was Cam, the way I'd answer this is, I would say, probably something like, because again, his stance right now is that Ma'Khia Bryant was the aggressor. If I was him, I would say, yeah, if you guys showed up, you guys were trying to like kill me or hurt me, then yeah, I would try and stand my ground. However, based on the arguments that I've laid out, I don't think that this case falls under that same situation.
Does the law matter? And then I talk about stand your ground law, and you say that it matters.
It does absolutely matter.
So what ground does she have to stand on? If you acknowledge that she's in her residence, what ground does she have to stand on?
It doesn't. What do you mean? What ground does she have to stand on? I'm confused at what you're asking.
I'm asking that if she's at her place of residence, and the law says that we have the ability to defend ourselves. I'm asking you.
It doesn't. It says you have the right to defend yourself.
So why? So.
And then he talks over him. when he asks him a question.
So Kyle Rittenhouse justified you. I think I'm cool on my questions. I'm gonna use this last minute just to make sure it's clear, right? To the people in the comment section, keep on talking about straw man argumentation. This only applies when the opponent is responding.
Oh, again, I forgot about this, but Cam still needs to come back. I hope he does. I really hope he comes back and says, where have I defended Kyle Rittenhouse? Where have I talked about ALM? What an idiot.
To you, I spoke first. I'm making arguments. You feel me? And if he's negating my arguments, there's no way I can straw man him. If you say equal protection under law, and we all as American citizens, as naturalized American citizens, if you born in America, this means that you should have protection under law.
That the equal protections doesn't apply to opposite or to different states. You
feel me? Equal protection, the same law that you try to use to justify Kyle Rittenhouse being a sung-own hero is the same law that you say.
And like, if you're gonna bring up a specific law in a debate, you need to research it and you need to understand it. You have to. Although, to be fair, I don't expect Consciously to literally know anything about what he cites in his videos or in his debates, because I remember when I made my video on him, I literally researched what the article that he had cited in his video response to me, and he absolutely just totally mischaracterized the whole article. The article actually I think it said the absolute opposite of what he was trying to claim it said.
Say she justify Ma'Khia being killed. This is an inconsistency. I told you I win this debate on conservative contradictions. You're going to say there were separate states. These separate states, all of them had a jurisdiction of equal protection under law. You try to use the law and permute it and say that, hey, this person right here is justified to defend themselves with an AR-15, and this person right here is not because they could potentially dead. In the big
ask him where you said that. Ask him where you
picture,
said that.
This is a grown human being saying that a child should be murdered by a police officer because of him dictating what her motive was.
All right, my turn. So,
hold on, stop the time.
The law. Oh yeah, okay. Go ahead and start.
All right, ready?
Do you believe that it's ever justified to shoot a 16-year-old?
Do I believe that it's ever justified to shoot a 16-year-old?
Yes or no question, no stalling. You seem to be using this as an appeal to emotion.
No. Let's get it.
You don't think it's ever justified for police officers to shoot a 16-year-old?
Yeah, no. Kyle Rittenhouse ain't dead.
No. What if they're shooting up a school? It's justified for the officer.
You tell me a school shooter that has not lived to go see their date in court. Tell me one. Tell me one.
That's not an answer. Oh my gosh. Now, this is where the bad faith really comes in. Holy crap. I can't believe he's actually like squirming this hard. I hope Cam catches it. What an idiotic thing to say. He's asking you just very, very, very simple, direct questions. And he's saying, oh, well, in all school shooter cases, they've never been shot or whatever. Like, that's not an answer. He really needs to like be aggressive here and drive this home. He's got to.
Do you think that it would be justified for a police officer to shoot a 16-year-old that is shooting up a school? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? No stalling.
Yes or no?
All right, I'm moving on. Do you believe that Ma'Khia was
what an
posing
idiot?
Bodily harm?
He's actually like, he is a piece of trash. Like, I think he knows it too. I wonder if he's thinking to himself here, like, oh man, I'm looking bad.
Or death.
I believe Ma'Khia was defending
the girl in
himself.
pink. Okay, you're not answering my questions. Never mind.
You asked me.
Okay, I was respectful. I answered your questions to the best of my ability. Anyway, under police code.
Yeah, that was good. I would. That's probably what I would do. I would say, well, no, I don't know. What he just said looked really good, but like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, because if you keep on asking him stuff and he squirms and you call him out on it, it would look pretty good. But then you're giving him the ability to like talk over you and like, if you can't catch the squirming and the weaseling that he does because he does it so freaking hard, then it could backfire. It could make you look really good. So maybe it's better to just be like, okay, you can't even answer a single question, so I'm just gonna answer for you, I guess, because you can't answer. That's actually what I would say. I would say, okay, you can't answer any of my questions, and that are very, very, very simple. I'll just answer the questions for you, and then I'll use all of my time to talk without asking you anything. Because I can just answer it for you. And then maybe that might actually switch him up to like commit to something.
In Columbus, Ohio, sworn personnel may use deadly force when the involved personnel have reason to believe that the response is objectively reasonable to protect themselves or others from the imminent threat of death or physical harm. It is reasonable to assume that the girl that Ma'Khia was attacking and standing over with a knife was in imminent danger of grave bodily harm or death. It's very reasonable. She was over her with a knife, about to plunge that knife into her chest or neck. Her life was in imminent danger. That is legal. The officer was legally justified under Columbus law to shoot Ma'Khia. Legally justified, regardless of age. I think that we can agree, those of you in chat, that it is justified in some circumstances to shoot a 16-year-old. Especially if they're shooting up a school. But why?
You asked me a yes or no question, and now you're saying in some instances it is okay, but some instances not. But you asked me a yes or no question. That's why I asked the question. Because I know yes or no question.
You keep trying. And
what kind of response was that? The question is there ever any instance that you can think of where it's justified to shoot a kid or like a 16-year-old? Is that's the only question he's asking? I don't understand.
And you keep saying that it's not a straw man. It is a straw man because you're setting up a dummy next to me. An argument that
drive it home, Cam. Drive it.
That argument. You're attacking the straw man.
I'm making an argument about equal representation under law.
It's my turn. Anyway.
Yeah.
The states have different laws and criteria for self-defense.
That was good. That was really good.
We're not talking about Kyle.
Like, tell him to just shut up and let you speak since he won't answer your questions. That's good.
Rittenhouse.
I'm talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. That's my argument. You haven't responded to yet.
Tell him to shut up. Tell him to shut up.
Then you're straw manning. You're not respecting the premise of the debate that we both agreed to.
I don't think you know how to debate.
I mean, you're literally just bringing up.
What is this? This guy is such like a performer. He's not even like a political person. He's literally just a performer. I don't know if he I don't know if he has any like original opinions or thoughts. I think he just does all of this for the show.
Things that are completely irrelevant to whether or not Ma'Khia was justifiably shot. Let's rewatch this again real quick. Is this? Ooh, or is it? Okay. This is the girl. She had a chihuahua in her hand. This girl is not posing imminent threat to Ma'Khia. She's not near Ma'Khia. She approaches the officer and attempts to speak with the officer. And also, Lee, you are severely misrepresenting Ohio Stand Your Ground law. You are saying that because it was on her property or her family's property, she has the right to attack or kill whoever she wants. That's not true. You have to fit in all three criteria. The person is not the aggressor. The person believes they are in danger of death or grave bodily harm. and the person is in a place where they're legally allowed to be. Those are the 3 criteria. You have to match all 3 of them, not just one of them. She doesn't match 2 of them and debatably 3 of them. So no.
Because my internet's bad, I might have to slow it back down later.
But she does not fall under Ohio standard ground law. According to an NBC affiliate, the stand your ground law says that you have to have first started the situation. You have to have first not started the situation. From this situation, from what the officer can observe, because this is really about his standpoint. He's responding to a 911 call where somebody who's actively attacking another person with a knife. He responds. He's immediately going to think that Ma'Khia is that person with the knife. You have to have first not started the situation and not escalated the situation. She certainly escalated the situation when she attacked this young lady here who was not doing anything to her in this moment, and then she tried to kill this young lady who was not doing anything to her. So she certainly escalated the situation. And secondly, you have to be in immediate fear of death or serious bodily harm. Yeah. And there was no other option except for deadly force if you wanted to survive that situation. Do we think that this woman here with a chihuahua in a pink jumpsuit was imposing some kind of grave bodily harm to Ma'Khia? Lee, would you consider a chihuahua to be a deadly weapon? Just yes or no?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay, that's ridiculous. But anyway,
they got teeth, don't they?
Anyway, let's rewatch this.
We gotta keep on watching the trauma porn.
Yep. Here's the knife.
What?
Ah, shit.
I wonder, how does it emotionally make you feel?
How does it? It's very sad to see somebody that young.
What just
Took himself after he clicked himself off of the after what you call Cam. What happened, Cam? Don't tell me Cam started realizing he was losing and he got after the where you at, Cam?
What an idiot! He's so stupid. Like I honestly, I think he knows that he can't make any good points, and so he just like goes for like the personal attacks or whatever. Because I don't think Cam said anything like that was a personal attack this entire time.
Yeah, he clicked himself out, bro.
He clicked himself out.
He come here.
All right, sorry. I was trying to end my screen share and I accidentally hit leave studio, so my bad. Anyway, where were we? Was my time paused? I'll let you rebut. You know what? You can have the rest of my time. Go ahead and rebut. Do your 2 minutes.
Hey, I'm just curious. So initially, when you heard the news of what happened to Ma'Khia, how did it make you feel?
How did it make me feel? What do you mean? It sounded
how
sad.
did it make you feel?
16-year-old shot and killed. But before I write articles, I cover news content. Before I even dive into these situations, I have to do more exploring into them than just what you're reading or hearing on Twitter or TikTok. So, I watched the body camera.
Fair response. I'd say something similar probably. I'd just be like, I mean, I have no idea what to think when I hear just some like off the top of the head like news story or whatever. I have to look into it more before like I try to like make any response to it. I mean, obviously when you hear, a 16-year-old was killed, obviously your immediate thought is like, okay, that sounds pretty bad. Let's look into it. That's the way I think of it anyway.
Footage.
So though right now you're in a live debate saying that her death is justified, do you still feel sad that she's dead?
It's a tragedy that anybody dies. However, I do believe that this is justified. It is objectively justified under law, and I believe that it's morally justified.
I got a question too. So you tell me that Kyle Rittenhouse has nothing to do with this debate, then you ask me questions about school shooters?
That was a hypothetical. I was providing you a hypothetical. I wasn't trying to.
No, I
wasn't trying to equivocate this to another shooting or another incident. I was just asking you about.
Yeah, drive that home. Say that like, this is totally different, and then make him. Yeah. I would say what he said. Yeah.
I can't pose a hypothetical about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse isn't a hypothetical. That's another case. I was providing you a hypothetical. I wasn't saying when this.
I literally made a double bind.
You're using a child argument as an appeal to emotion. You're trying to get people's emotions flowing so that you can try to make this seem unjustified when in reality there was no other option. If the life of the person being attacked was.
You don't think you're trying to appeal to emotions at all?
No, I'm trying to objectively prove that this was justified.
So right now the white man is painting himself as being objective and the black man is being emotional. Is that what you're saying?
The white man saved a black life. Do you realize that?
Black life.
He saved a black life. Don't you think that if he wanted to see
a true. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier, but yeah, I was wondering if he was going to bring this up. This was something I was going to have in my back pocket, actually, if I ever talked to iSpeak or whatever. I was going to say, like, I mean, he did save a black life. Is there no, like, recognition in that? Everyone wants to focus on how he killed a black life, but no one wants to talk about how he like did save a black life, and that's actually covered under law. Assuming, it's covered under law. I don't think you can twist it any way to say that the cop was unjustified in what he did. I really just don't. I don't think there is any way to do that.
19 seconds. What he just said, when y'all rewind this footage, what he just said. My third argument, all lives matter. A black life was lost. It literally shows why she should be alive.
I've never preached all lives matter. I don't know why you're bringing this up. Find one clip where I said
all lives matter.
I've never said it. Find a clip where I've said it other than just now. I've never said it. Go to my page and look over. Oh my God, because you brought it up. I was quoting you, dude. I've never preached that all lives matter.
I don't have to win that you said all lives matter to win this debate. I only have to win the consistencies of saying all lives matter.
You're trying.
Yeah. Drive it home. He has to drive this home. He has to, because otherwise, consciously, if we were at this point in the debate and I was Kim, I wouldn't even like care about like actually trying to get to the meat of it. Well, when you go into a debate, okay, if you're in discussion, it's a little different. But if you're in a debate, you are there to win. Okay, you don't say it explicitly, but you are there to win. If they try to like if they try to like pivot really hard and they don't want to talk as much about the objective facts or whatever, which is what Cam likes to do, then you got to go with them. You got to like you got to start rolling the mud. You got to like drive home the point. You got to say, hey, where did I support All Lives Matter? You have to tell me. You got to tell me where I supported it. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. That way it doesn't screw up my internet and like make everything slow.
Argument on.
Hold on. To let it catch up, I'll also slow it down a little bit because this is a no. Because this is a good spot right here. Come on, why is it not playing? Here.
On me as if I've said it, but I haven't.
It's my, hey Cam, in a debate, I make arguments, you respond to them. The arguments that you don't like, you just can't say they're straw man. Like literally, hey, this trophy.
No. He's never said All Lives Matter, and you claim that he did. That's the issue. You have to you have to drive this home, Kim. You've got to.
That's a straw man. That's
I pay my bills with debate skills. I find it funny you talking to me about debate fallacies, bro. Like you talking to a professional policy debate coach about argument fallacies.
Even if I had said those things,
he's actually stupid. I don't know how else to say it. Like he's just one of the stupidest people on the internet. Full stop. It doesn't mean anything that you coach anyone in debates. Like you're objectively sucking in this debate right now.
Still just attempting to taint the world. Fallacy. You're trying to discredit me.
I'll just start the timer. We got a 3-minute speech right here. 3-minute speech right here.
For who?
Put my timer, man. So when it comes to the law, in cross-sex, I asked Cam a question. Does the law matter in this debate? Cam simply said yes. If the law matters in this debate, equal protection under law is always a fact in this debate. And because there's inconsistencies with how he's able to use the law to say, hey, Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't even want to engage in that debate because I don't think this has anything to do with this debate. But I'm going to ask you hypothetical questions about school shooters, even though Ma'Khia didn't shoot no school up. There's inconsistencies with this and how I'm going to win this on conservative contradictions. Because you notice that he hasn't said anything about I'm not a conservative. There's a lot of consistencies in terms of the things I'm saying about all lives matter and the shit that he pulls and the shit that he does. You know what I'm saying? All he's literally trying to do is sensationalize Black death for following. But I'm supposed to be
this is only on your YouTube channel.
Stop. This is my speech right now. It's my 3-minute speech right now. And I'm going to be...
I would say if I were him right now, I'd be like, you interrupted me plenty of times during what I was saying without me asking you a question.
He's the one in pain that's being emotional, but somehow he keep on having the emotional evoking to want to cut me off. But I'm the emotional one right here. I asked him, how did he feel emotionally when Ma'Khia was first killed? He said he was sad. But today he's making the thing that even though he was sad when he first heard the news, she should be dead. Nobody sees.
Did he even say that he was sad when he first heard it? I don't remember him saying that. Maybe I'm wrong.
The inconsistencies in saying that in this instance, I believe this person has the ability to defend themselves. In this instance, I believe this person is always already imminent threat. So no law enforcement felt threat for their life. When Kyle Rittenhouse had a big ass AR-15, literally just got done shooting people that gave him water. And you're gonna say, well, he wasn't pointing at nobody. He literally just got done killing some people. And the same law enforcement, it's the same people that had the authority to pull the trigger on Ma'Khia, is the same people that was like, hey, oh no, I think you should get due process of law because you get to defend yourself, even though you're in a state that you're not supposed to be in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go against that. He's gonna say, that's straw man. I need you to answer the argument inconsistencies. I have to answer the argument about a hypothetical goddamn school shooter and saying that in some instances. So now you need to answer the question. You still ain't gave me a straight up answer on if I speak T Nathan walk into your house and we doing this, you keep on trying to play this legal rhetoric game in one instance, but another instance say you don't care about it. So you say
one thing that I'd pull up if I were Cam, when it comes to be my turn, is I'd say I've responded to a lot of your arguments, including the fact that you've said that I've said ALM, and I've never said All Lives Matter on my channel. You can't find it anywhere. So I just want to say I've responded to everything that you've said, and everything that you've said has never been like an actual like good reading or a good faith reading of the law. It hasn't actually been talking about like, oh, this is why she's justified or whatnot. You've never talked about that this entire time. I've been the one that like have brought stats up. I've been the one who's talked about the actual law and why the criteria matter and why they don't matter in this case specifically. I would really drive home the fact that like he's only like pushed the same like 3 or 4 questions this entire time, and they've all been like really, really, really stupid questions.
It doesn't matter. You say you still keep on emotionally responding and interrupting me, but I'm supposed to be the one that's only responding in emotion. See, this is the thing about my black passion. A lot of people having a low emotional intelligence. When I start getting passionate about what I believe in and what I'm doing, you want to start denigrating my emotional response and my emotional expressions. This sounds like the same thing that Ma'Khia was put in. You feel me? She don't get to be a body with autonomy that can defend herself. She has to be a passive.
I don't know if the vape thing looks good there.
Docile being. You don't even want to acknowledge she was in her own home. You say stand your ground law matters, but then you say we have these 3 things. If you don't fit within these 3 things, but then you say it doesn't matter.
Yep, that's what the law says. That's what the law says. Yep, that's exactly what the law says. So under law, this was not only was Ma'Khia not justified under law, but the officer was also justified being her under. What's up?
Let me know when you start your speech.
Okay, I have 3 minutes, right? Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay. So, again, I mean, I've gone over this according to Columbus Police Code. A sworn personnel may use deadly force when you're making this a legal thing. You want to talk about laws. So you think that this is not justified under law? Let's be clear. You think this is not justified under law, correct?
Stand your ground, correct?
Okay. Sworn personnel may use deadly force when the involved personnel have reason to believe the response is objectively reasonable to them to protect themselves or others from the imminent threat of death or serious physical harm. That's exactly what was happening.
What are you reading right now? Is it stand your ground law? What law is this?
This is Columbus, Ohio Police Code. If you were actually listening to what I was saying. They are allowed to use deadly force, including a firearm, when they're protecting themselves or others from the imminent threat of death or serious physical harm. So he's absolutely justified in that, in what he did under the Columbus Police Code of Conduct. And again, understand your ground. You have to fit all 3 of these criteria. The person cannot be the aggressor. The person has to be in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, which he was not by the person she attacked.
He shouldn't be doing this, man. At this point, you're getting to the point where, I mean, they still have half the debate left still, I feel. But at this point, you can't keep on pushing home the stats and the law or whatever. I think it's good to push it a little bit, but like at this point, you really got to start like pointing out all of the flaws with what he's saying. You gotta talk about the ALM thing. If I were him, I would be pushing the All Lives Matter thing this entire debate. I really would. I would be pushing him. I would be saying, find me an instance where I've claimed to like ALM, because that's what you claimed in your opening statement.
She was not in great body.
Oh, and this is the other thing. I don't know if anyone else is interested in like these kinds of debate tips or whatever. But like when you hear someone make an outrageous claim like that, if you're like in the opening statements and the other person that you're debating is saying something that's absolutely obviously outrageous, just on its face absurd, like you support ALM when you don't, you have to keep like notes open and write that stuff down. And when I say write that stuff down, especially with those specific types of quotes, you have to like actually quote it, because if you notice later on when Cam brought this up, or it was right a few minutes ago here, Cam said, I've never supported ALM, yada yada yada, and consciously kind of acted as if like, hey, I never said necessarily that you like, I don't know if he said this explicitly, but he was basically making the point like, I'm not talking about you saying ALM, I'm talking about like you haven't You've talked about like downgrading or criticizing BLM, but you don't criticize ALM or whatever, something like that. So at that point, it'd be really, really good to have the actual quote of what Consciously said about All Lives Matter. It'd be good if you could like actually quote back to him exactly what he said. You said, you put All Lives Matter all over your page, if that's what Consciously said. That would be really, really, really good, and it'd look really, really good on Cam's part.
Bodily harm, she was the aggressor the entire time that the officer was there, and the officer had he could reasonably infer that Ma'Khia was the armed assailant with a knife that called in on the 911 call when he got there. He doesn't even know that it's her house at that point. He doesn't know that it's her house. He may think that he's at someone else's house, and Ma'Khia is the armed assailant because he received a domestic call where somebody was an armed assailant with a knife. We don't know that Ma'Khia made that call, again, because the Columbus, Ohio police chief came out and said that the person who made the call is yet to be identified. You keep talking about equal protection under law, but people don't have the protection varies from state to state. Not every state has stand your ground, so they're not protected like in manners of self-defense in the same way. And that's not. I see what you're doing there. It's not a racial thing. It applies to everyone. Not every state has great self-defense laws. Some states do have great self-defense laws. Some states are stand your ground states. This state is a stand your ground state, but you have to fit certain criteria in order for it to hold up in court and for it to be legally justified. But it's not. Again, according to an NBC affiliate, you have to have been the one who started the situation. You have to have not escalated the situation. By the way, NBC is a left-wing source. And secondly, you have to be in the immediate fear of death or serious bodily harm and have no other option but to use deadly force in order to survive the situation. You have to have not escalated the situation. She clearly escalated the situation. She was chasing down 2 people with a knife that were not actively attacking her. One of them had a dog in their hand. A chihuahua is not a deadly weapon. I don't care if you try to claim that it is a deadly weapon. Come to my house and try to kill me with a chihuahua.
Time. I'm starting my time right now. It's funny that this man's trying to keep on talking about this chihuahua, but Kyle Rittenhouse is able to see people as an enemy threat, but goddamn posters.
posters. That's what he got away with being able to defend himself. I find it it's just crazy that we're now sitting here talking about the law.
That is a good point on Consciously's side. If I were Cam, I would actually bite the bullet and say, yeah, like Chihuahua could be like a deadly weapon. Almost anything could be a deadly weapon. I mean, you can make pillows a deadly weapon. If you're strong enough to hold someone down, you can hold a pillow over their face and like just like kill them. I wouldn't have made that point if I were Cam. I think Consciously coming back and hitting him with that, I think that looked bad because yeah, the guy who was running after Kyle Rittenhouse, all he did have was a bottle, right? That doesn't necessarily matter when it comes to self-defense, but if you're going to acknowledge that doesn't necessarily matter, then you also got to realize that like, yeah, like just about anything can be used as a deadly weapon. You got to bite the bullet on that.
Let's go to the Ohio stand your ground law. There's 4 tenets of this, or 3 tenets of this right here. The person is not the aggressor. If literally she called the police, because he don't know that. No, the person who called the police, she didn't do it. Stop cutting me off right now. It's my speech, right? What we know is that even when he say we don't know, this does not mean that she did not do it. It does not rule out that she didn't call. He's just saying we don't know she called. There's not.
Yeah, you can't. Man, I wish they didn't have this debate format because yeah, it would be so much easier for Cam to just butt in and say you don't know that. Like you don't even have to like keep arguing really hard. You just got to be like you just got to throw that in there really quick. You don't know that.
The second part of the Ohio stands your ground law. The person believes they are in imminent threat or danger of bodily harm. I think calling the police, saying that you're in threat, suffices to that. The last thing that's so important that Cam know, he keep realizing he lost on this. That's why he going back and forth. The last thing on the Ohio stands your ground is the person is in the place where they have the legal right to be. The stand your ground law acknowledges that she had the legal right to be in her place of residence, and the driveway counts as that. He first when we got around this business, he don't try to say no consciously. She was on the sidewalk. That's not public. He recognizing that the law matters. So again, you got to ask the question: what law did Ma'Khia have to stand on? And shout out to the people with the speech impediments and the stuttering things, because apparently they think when we stutter, we can't keep on winning. But this how I go down. In order for him to win this debate, he has to win that a kitchen knife and potential death is more danger than a assault rifle and 2 people already being dead. He has to win that the stand your ground law does not matter because she was defending herself and the police did this. Because this is what he hasn't got into. The police didn't have enough time. So he didn't apply no de-escalation tactics. He didn't try to fire off no rubber bullets. He didn't try to fire off no taser. He didn't even try to use the gun he pulled out the shooter in the left leg or the right leg or the right arm or the left arm. He shot her 4 times in the chest. 4 times in the chest. And now this man right here is trying to traffic some conservatives clout off of sensationalizing black death. Just had to be able to try to challenge me on this here thing. Hey, Consciously, I see that you think that this death was just a bottle. I want to challenge you that, but you got to come to my Twitch. Now you getting your ass wipe the flow on because you a grown ass man trying to justify a child should be dead because of your interpretation of what you think she was doing.
I would key off of that, and I would again ask him. I would be like, do you think that there's any instance where like it's justified to kill a child? You have to ask that. You have to like make them commit to something. And then if he doesn't answer, I would be like, okay, well here's some easy examples, very very easy examples to test your ethics. And then because you don't even have to like own him on this. You just have to be like, you just have to lay this out and allow everyone in the chat to actually start thinking about what they actually believe. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people on his side and in the middle that think like, oh no, it's never justified to kill a child or kill a 16-year-old or whatever. You've got to drive that point home at some point.
So we don't have the right to be able to say who called, but you can say, I know for a fact that Ma'Khia was going to kill that woman, and that justifies it. Due process of law. If the law matters in this debate, you have to say that the police officer should be the judge, jury, and executioner, and we know that the law matters, and that's unconstitutional.
Okay, so what do I have 2 minutes now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 minutes. I did 3 minutes, so you got 3 minutes too.
All right,
yeah, time.
And this is the last rebut, right? And then closing statements, or
yep.
Okay. Okay, so.
And then closing statements. Oh, I guess he talks to this guy afterwards. Interesting. Okay.
You're going to start when I start.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll stop you start.
So it seems to me that you are basing your entire argument around the phone call, claiming that because she was being attacked in her own home, blah, blah, she made the phone call because she felt that she was in imminent danger. It's irrelevant because you're basing your entire argument around something that we don't objectively know. We do not objectively know that Ma'Khia made that call, and you're claiming that I don't know that she didn't make the call, and you're correct, but you don't know that she did. So that's not a strong argument.
I'm going to text Cam right now. He texted me earlier and asked if I had watched it. I was like, no, I'm going to do a debate review on it. Just to see what you think, because hold on a second. He said, this is funny. He said, thanks, man. I think I did well, but all of his people say I lost, but I'm really curious to see what you think, because I know that you're not going to be super biased. Let me know when you do that. I'll be watching. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know. It doesn't. It really, really, really doesn't. Oh crap! He got. Dang it! He got banned again. I just realized he got banned again because I was looking at the little profile picture next to their message, and I was like, wait, is my phone just not loading? No, he got banned. Oh my gosh, this poor guy. I feel so bad for him. But he said, all of his people say I lost. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't matter, dude. It literally doesn't. They're gonna say that he won. The thing you got to think about, I feel like in those situations is, do you think that you probably made some of his people think a little bit more about what they actually believe? From what he said here and what he might say, I think he probably made some of his Consciously's people think a little bit more. Not a lot of them. It seems like if Consciously's fans are anything like Consciously himself, then I'd imagine most of them are bad faith, like, you know, stupid, absolute moronic people who don't know anything about literally everything that they talk about. But I would imagine that there's got to be some people in his audience that, like, you know, are open to you know, hearing some kind of opposing view. And so it doesn't matter if they said you lost. You're not trying to get them. You're trying to appease your audience and trying to appease like some people in the middle. That way you get people, you know, coming to your side or coming to like follow you or whatnot.
Ending on a crutch. Anyway, again, shoot in the leg or the arm. Police are specifically trained not to shoot in the arm or the leg. I have a government source for this, the Office of Justice Programs. Officers should not intentionally shoot to wound with the hopes of shooting to wound, because arms and legs are the fastest moving parts on your body. You are more likely to miss, and then if that margin of error happens, the other girl is going to be dead. And not only that, if you shoot for the upper arms and upper legs where they're less mobile, you're more likely to hit an artery because they use hollow point rounds.
Oh, I was wrong when I said that earlier then, I guess. Maybe there's an artery right here. I know there's an artery right here. I didn't know there was an artery right here. That's interesting.
Yeah. Also, if you're shooting for like arms and stuff, right? You're more likely to hit the neck and head. That happens again. I got a study right here. I can send it to you if you'd like. Again, done by the Office of Justice Programs. They took a sample of police shootings.
Yeah, because imagine if this cop actually did try to like shoot Ma'Khia Bryant in like the arm or something, and then he ended up, imagine. Okay, so a few things, because I just realized how stupid their argument is. Because a lot of these people, like Consciously or I Speak, will say things like, well, hey, why doesn't he try to just shoot her in the leg or in the arm or something like that? Oh, but you said she's justified, so why do you even care if she's trying to shoot them? So that's number one, okay? If you're going to be consistent, then you got to be consistent. You can't have it both ways. If she's justified, then she's justified. She can kill the girl. If she's not justified, then why are you trying to say that he should be trying to shoot her in the leg or the arm? Either way, imagine what these people would say if the cop actually did try to take their advice and shoot the Ma'Khia Bryant in the leg or the arm, and then they accidentally literally shoot her in the head, or shoot the other girl and then kill her, because this is their advice. This is what they wanted. They said, oh, if you're going to shoot her, try and shoot her in the leg or shoot her in the arm. There's so many, I can draw so many worse outcomes from that than what actually happened in this case. And they would be instances that Consciously would be even more outraged by. I would bet you literally $300. We'll say $300. I'll bet you $300 that if this was a different situation, where they actually did try to shoot, in the leg or the arm or whatever, and it ended up hitting the girl in the pink, or it ended up hitting Ma'Khia Bryant in the head and actually just killing her outright, these people would have lost their freaking mind. The only reason they're actually not going super up in arms is because they know it's justified to some extent. They're just trying to tell themselves it's not, because it's a black girl.
And displayed that in several of these occasions where the police were intending to shoot to wound because they didn't want to kill a person, they ended up actually striking the person in the neck or head. They're trained to shoot center mass because that's the most reliable place to shoot to neutralize the threat. You're trying to refute the fact that the girl in pink, that her life was in imminent danger. It absolutely was. That is far less speculation than saying that we don't know if it was Ma'Khia on the phone. Your whole argument is around speculation. You're speculating that a girl who had another girl pinned to the hood of a car, or to the side of the car, whatever it was, with a knife over her head, ready to plunge it into this girl after attacking another girl, and her dad curb stomping that girl, that maybe she wasn't going to kill her, maybe she was going to stop right there in her tracks. That's not a risk the officer can take. They are legally allowed to shoot and use deadly force when they are preserving the life of themselves or another person. That is Columbus, Ohio's police code of conduct. Again, you keep bringing up Kyle Rittenhouse relevant. We agreed to a debate where we're talking about this specific instance, and the fact that you need to try to strawman me with Kyle Rittenhouse really shows how weak your argument actually is. I yield, I guess you could say, if we were in Congress. And, by the way, I answered your thing about T. Nathan, you and T. Nathan, whoever else you said. I said that it depends on the circumstance, right? It completely depends on the circumstance. Was I the aggressor, or were you the aggressor? Was I the aggressor? Completely depends. In this situation, Ma'Khia was objectively, from the officer's point of view, the aggressor. She was chasing down another person.
Oh, that is okay. So Maybe I misunderstood Cam's argument. Or at the beginning, it did seem like Cam was saying that he believes that Ma'Khia Bryant was the aggressor, full stop. But I think actually what his argument is that he's saying objectively from the police officer's view, Ma'Khia was the aggressor. That's a different argument, and I think that's the one that I would also defend. Yeah, okay.
Into the ground and then try to stab someone.
All right, my turn.
Yep,
My
go
turn.
ahead.
Closing or it's 12 minutes.
Closing. Yeah. How long do we want to do for that? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? 4 minutes. Totally up to you. Whatever.
12 minutes.
As long as how much?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. All right. Go ahead.
I start my timer now. A straw man fallacy is defined as a form of argument or informal fallacy of having an impression of refuting a argument, whereas a proper idea of the argument under discussion was not addressed or properly refuted. There is no way for me to not address or properly refute his argument. He's not.
Hold on, I'm gonna slow this down a little bit for the ending remarks. We'll go this for right now.
I made no argument. Cam came out of the box
Exactly
talking
what
about straw man argumentation because he thought that would be a cute, pseudo-intellectual way of not having to respond to my arguments. I've made 3 arguments in debate. My argument was the Kyle Rittenhouse argument is saying that he has to win, that a kitchen knife and potential death is more of a threat than an AR rifle to 2 people already being dead. My second argument was about the Ohio stand your ground law. He keeps on reading to me the Columbus, Ohio policy, the police policy. Somehow, when I asked him the question, does law matter? He believes that the Columbus, Ohio police policy overrides the state of Ohio stand your ground law. That law literally says that if you are in the legal right, the location that you have the right to defend yourself. I asked the question in my open arguments: what ground does black people have to stand on? This debate right here. I know he wants to place it in the vacuum and say this is only about this instance, but this is the reason why we keep on being in this space, because y'all fail to recognize how patterns and trends happen. Because for some reason, where we find that similar states across our country, regardless on the East Coast or the West Coast, we all have similar grounds one way or another of being able to have a law that says stand your ground. But somehow, whether you in Ohio or Florida, black women, black children, black girls somehow don't be able to defend themselves. And now today, Cam wants to sit here and pontificate literally about the black and white of the law.
You could make an argument that like, oh yeah, obviously I believe in self-defense, and the way I believe in self-defense is like the girl in pink was getting self-defense through a third party, which was the police officer, which is totally covered by the law. I mean, you can make that argument. If like they're gonna drive this point home of being like, oh, you're making exceptions for Kyle Rittenhouse, but not Ma'Khia Bryant or whatever because you believe self-defense for white people, whatever. Oh well, I believe that the pink girl should have been able to use self-defense, and I think that she kind of did in a way because the police was acting on her behalf, which is again covered under law. I think you could probably make that argument and it'd look really rhetorically good.
When it comes to Ma'Khia, but he didn't have that same energy when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse. Let me ask this. If Ma'Khia Bryant should be dead, how many of those protesters, January 6th, that went into the Capitol should be dead? They had guns in their hands. They was literally threatening people and literally trying to...
They shouldn't have guns in their
Stop
hands.
cutting me off, Cam. Stop cutting me off, Cam. Literally, how many more should be dead? That's the rhetorical question here because I guess...
Cam's got to be writing every single one of the stupid things that he's saying. He literally... There's so many great things that you could key off of from what he's saying. Like so many stupid things that you could just like write down what he's saying, and then like in your closing statement, because you're getting the last closing statement, you would just be like, you said this, that was really stupid. You said this, you're just objectively wrong here. Yeah, that'd probably look really good, and maybe you wouldn't even have to like just drive home the points you've made. He's made his points really clear throughout the debate. Like they're really structured, even though I don't know how he did it so structured when obviously Consciously was trying to like throw him off the track the whole entire time. But either way, he made his points really good. I would take the last 4 minutes or whatever of your closing statements. I would just use that to be like, here's my argument. I think I've laid it out pretty well, and then say, here's all these stupid things that you've said throughout this debate, including the All Lives Matter thing. Again, I would have used half of this debate to like drive that home so hard.
You don't know how opposing arguments go. The rhetorical question is the inconsistency. I said I'm going to win this debate on conservative contradictions. Cam, throughout this debate, not only has he shown in the big picture there's inconsistencies, he's literally showed the contradictions in this debate.
Oh, okay. Then that's the thing I would say you're trying to base this off of conservative contradictions. But what does that matter to me? If I haven't contradicted myself, then why did you have me here to do a debate? What's the point of this if you're not going to address the arguments that I've made instead of like the arguments that conservatives have made collectively? That doesn't matter to me. I don't use All Lives Matter. Like, just shut up about it. It doesn't make any sense.
One minute he says that it doesn't matter whether she was on. It doesn't matter what the law is. And one minute he says that she wasn't even on private property. She was on the sidewalk. On the other instance, she said yes, consciously, and she had her pinned in a pink dress with a chihuahua. See, it's crazy that he's trying to say I'm trying to use emotions, but he keeps on sensationalizing whether a chihuahua is threatful or not. Talk about how you feel emotional.
When Consciously says stuff like this, or anyone says stuff like this, I can't tell if they're just really, really stupid and they can't understand or like follow a logical thought through, like Cam's thoughts. I don't know if they can't just like follow what he's trying to say, or if they're actually like trying to be bad faith and like twist what they've said to mean something different. It's so hard to tell with some of these people.
Provoke with that. See, Cam, I really had it out for you already because you thought you was doing something. You tried to jump me with that brand debate. Now we went on one and you see it ain't holding too good. You know what I'm saying? So in closing, we see there's an inconsistency of all lives matter. He gonna say he didn't say it. It doesn't matter if he didn't say it already. My argument is that all lives do matter and that we pay tax dollars for law enforcement to be able to deploy some type of de-escalation. If you go to Google right now, you type in police.
Ask him. You should ask him. You think he would have been able to de-escalate in 20 seconds? You really
de-escalation? You tell me what race you gonna see of police officers literally being able to deploy rubber bullets. He claimed tasers are not effective, but somehow tasers been able to make it where abusers, violenters, perpetuators of the law are able to go see their time in court. They ain't gotta die. They ain't gotta be able to speculate about what their intentions was. Because he gonna try to say, we know McKinney was gonna kill his woman, but she's not here to tell us. And that's the issue. The issue is that a child is dead, and now we have people for their political gain trying to sensationalize their death to try to get some views. That is tasteless. That is unethical. That's immoral. You know what I'm saying? All lives matter. Everybody should have went home and they didn't. That's the reason why he loses.
Okay.
That's the reason why he loses. That's the reason why he loses. What a bad showing.
That's where everybody goes home. If that officer didn't shoot, the girl that Ma'Khia was attacking would be dead. Anyway, you said that I'm saying that the law is relevant in some situations and not in others. I said that whether she was on her own property is irrelevant due to the fact that you have to meet all three criteria under the stand your ground law. You can't be the aggressor. You couldn't have escalated the situation further. You have to be on your own property and your life has to.
Yeah, if you're the last one to talk, man, hold on a second. Do they keep going? Because this is this is more than 4 minutes, right? Why do they keep going? This is the closing statements. Maybe they're just closing out there. Yeah, if you get the last closing statement, you have to just like go hard. Okay, this is your chance. If you're gonna wait to go hard, which you probably should wait to like literally like throw in really bad jabs and whatnot. If you're gonna wait to do that. If you're getting the last say in the debate, you got to throw those hard.
Has to be in imminent danger of grave bodily harm or death. Ma'Khia does not fit two of those criteria. Therefore, the third criteria is irrelevant because you have to meet all three. She was on her property, but she was clearly the aggressor. She was the one chasing people with knives and swinging the knife around rampantly. Okay, her life was not in imminent danger from the person holding the chihuahua. The person holding the chihuahua was attempting to speak with the... Oh,
I see what he was saying. Man, sometimes I totally miss what these people are saying in these debates. And then I realize it later, and it aggravates me. But I think he was saying, oh yeah, she met one of the criteria for self-defense, but that doesn't matter because you have to meet all three criteria for the stand your ground law.
Police to tell them what was going on. Okay, that person posed no threat whatsoever to Ma'Khia Bryant, but Ma'Khia Bryant attacked her anyway with a knife and attempted to kill her. That is an objective fact. That girl's life was in imminent danger, objectively. There is no argument about that. Her life was in danger. Would you say that your life is in danger if somebody is holding a knife over their hand or over their head while you're pinned up against a car? Would you say that your life is probably in imminent danger? Yes or no?
It depends. It depends on the context.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ.
I think if a 14-year-old girl has a knife with me, I'm not gonna kill her.
Anyway, the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. I guess you could call it more of a red herring than a straw man. You're bringing up something irrelevant to distract from the actual argument, and that's exactly what you did. You brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, which is in no way relevant to the situation whatsoever. If we are arguing if this is objectively justified on its own or not, Kyle Rittenhouse has nothing to do with it. You're attempting to taint the well and discredit my arguments for things that I may have or may have.
Again, Cam, I still think you should have acknowledged the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff. Because earlier you said, from the police officer's view, she was objectively from the police officer's view that she was justified, or she was the aggressor. That's what you said. Sorry. If that's your argument, then you have to address the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and it's really easy. All you have to say is that, yeah, I believe Kyle Rittenhouse was justified, but that doesn't matter because she could have been justified, but that didn't matter either because what matters was, did the cop see her as the aggressor or not? That's the only question that needs to be answered here. That's what we have to answer. If you can't show any proof of that, then to otherwise than that, it just doesn't matter.
have not said in the past. That's what tainting the well is. You're attempting to say because I may have said this in the past, that means all of my future arguments are incorrect, which is not true. Go find one video of me talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. You can't. There's nothing on TikTok about it. And they're also very different situations. They're not the same cops. They're not trained the same way. The laws in those states are not the same.
Plus, there were no cops around. Oh, man, dang it. You got to use the rest of your time, Cam. You got to like go hard. You got to do it. You got to do it. Cam, when you watch this, I want you to know, if you're going against someone like Consciously, you can't let them get away with stuff like this. You got to be like, he said that I've talked about Kyle Rittenhouse. He said that I talked about All Lives Matter. He's not shown me a single piece of evidence to say that this is the case. Not a single piece. I've asked him multiple times. He's not showed me this entire debate. If that doesn't tell you something about Consciously's character throughout this debate and just in general, then you're fooling yourself. You have to like look at what this guy's arguments are. You have to see if he's being good faith or not. And I think these two things, even just by themselves, kind of show that Consciously is one of the most bad faith actors on the platform. I would literally say that verbatim. You gotta, if you're gonna use the rest of your time, you have to say stuff like that.
That's about all I've got, man. Rubber bullet.
He's being a trash human being to you, so you gotta like drive it home.
You don't know if he had rubber bullets or not. You don't know if he had a rubber bullet mag on him. We don't know what was on that officer's duty belt. Who are you talking to, man? What are you doing? Tasers are ineffective 40% of the time, according to the American Public Research. Yep, American Public Media Study.
Yeah, I mean, what is he? Oh my gosh, this is what I would have asked Consciously earlier in the debate. I would have said, okay, if tasers are ineffective 40% of the time, do you think it's really okay for the officer to make that risk of trying to tase her and then it not working and then she ends up killing a girl? Are you okay with that? With that outcome? Because you have to be okay with that outcome if you're saying that the only option that cop has is to use anything other than a gun. You have to be okay with that outcome. You have to recognize that that's a possible outcome and be okay with that, because if he does use the taser and it does not work, because they don't work 40% of the time, then you're likely going to get a dead girl. Okay? So otherwise, either way, you're going to get a dead girl. So you gotta pick one, okay? You gotta pick one. If you're the cop and you're looking at it, who's the aggressor? This is how it's just going to work, okay? I would make them answer that.
By the American Public Media, Los Angeles.
Or try to make them answer that.
Reported that from 2014 to 2018, they were effective anywhere from 53 to 64% of the time in any given year. Pepper spray wouldn't have been effective. Too far away. The officer's not going to dive in and tackle Ma'Khia because that's exactly what a knife assailant wants you to do. As soon as he dives in and gets close with a person who has a knife, he's at the disadvantage. Not only is his life in danger, but the other girl's life is also still in danger because he doesn't know that by the time he gets in that situation, that girl hasn't been stabbed. That's why he was back with a knife with a gun to preserve his own life and the life of the person or persons being attacked. Because it wasn't just one. We know that Ma'Khia was swinging the knife at the other girl and then pushed her to the ground, and her dad curb stomped that girl. There was plenty of lives in imminent danger, and if he would have done anything other than what he did, there would have been more lives endangered. The risk is far too high, and the margin of error, there's no margin of error there. You have to do what you have to do to preserve life. He was objectively legally justified in what he did under Columbus, Ohio's police code of conduct, and Ma'Khia Bryant was not justified in what she did under Ohio's self-defense laws, their stand your ground laws. She didn't meet two of the legal criteria that you have to meet all three. She didn't meet two of them. I wasn't saying that you throw out the law in this situation and not in this situation. I was simply telling you that it's irrelevant because she already doesn't meet the criteria. In two instances.
Everyone thinking Cam won thinks Kyle was justified and the invasion on the Capitol was the right idea. That's actually not true, actually. But nice try.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. It's been a cool little debate. Yep. Definitely everyone who think Cam won think Kyle was justified in the invasion.
This whole debate, I never said
I'm not talking about you. David, shout out to you for this comment. Says everyone thinking Cam won. That's not you. Also thinks that Kyle is justified and that the invasion of the Capitol was the right idea.
But you don't know that. That's also a straw man. Man, these guys are really, really good at it.
That's just not funny. Man, you got anything? We're talking about the comment section. This is not time for you to feel center yourself, and we ain't got time to do that right there. Any last parting words though? I really don't have.
You didn't bring up an objective fact in this entire debate. Like not even a single one. I don't think you brought up literally anything. You didn't reference.
Yes. You should have done that in your closing statements, I think. But doing it right here is also just as good. Although some people might have like dipped out already, but. Yes, drive this home. That looks really good for you, by the way.
Any law, you didn't reference any statistics, any studies. You didn't bring up any objective evidence at all. You just tried to go back on this crutch of Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes.
So I didn't read Ohio State Stand Your Ground law to you, and that wasn't my second argument.
That was like one of the first things I did read it to you.
That's cool. Everything's recorded though, man.
All right, man. Cool.
I guess now we're gonna shoot the shit until you ready to go.
I'm out of here, man. I gotta go
talking about how we don't know this, but you're giving objective facts, but you don't know who made the call, but she's supposed to be dead.
What do those two things have to do with each other? You don't know that she made the call.
How can you give objective facts and you're acknowledging that you don't know what happened?
The objective fact was that it's not that the person who made the call is not identified yet. That was the objective fact, according to the Columbus, Ohio.
The objective fact is that
the objective fact is that the person was identified. And the reason I brought that up was because your argument was that she made the call and her life was in danger. When you don't know that to be a fact, your argument kept falling back on things that are not proven to be fact.
I don't think you recognize in debate when you say that something is not known. It flipped both ways.
This is the debate we want.
You don't know.
This is the debate I was wanting. It's just this screaming match going back and forth because this is hilarious.
I never said that it wasn't Ma'Khia. I just said that the person who made the call.
That's my argument. You don't know if it was Ma'Khia. That's my argument.
I never claimed that I knew. You said she made the call, and I made you aware of the police.
This is my last question. I'll let you do. This is my last question. I'll let you do. So if Ma'Khia's mom and sisters said that she called the police because she was being attacked, why shouldn't we believe them?
Wait, what? Show me a video.
If Ma'Khia's mom and sisters said she was being attacked, why shouldn't we believe them?
Repeat that in here. I'm sorry.
If Ma'Khia's mom and sisters said she was being attacked, why shouldn't we believe them?
Because on the video, she wasn't being attacked. She was the one doing the attacking.
I don't know if that's a great answer. I don't exactly know how I'd answer that. I'd have to think about it before I go talk to iSpeak or whatever. But anyway, this was a fun time. Hope you guys like this. If you guys have any way to send this to Cam, just spam him once his account's back up or whatever. Like, tell him to go watch it. Because he said he wanted to hear my thoughts. So I'll try and message him too if I can find him in Discord. He hasn't added me back in Discord. What a jerk. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, thanks guys. Have a great one. Thank you so much.